Sports Talk with the Cowboy.
Welcome and thanks for riding with the Cowboy. Well, we're almost ready for the kickoff of the NFL season, September 8th. But first, we have to go through the cuts, which were yesterday. And the final cuts were made by 4 o'clock Tuesday, which was yesterday, by every team. The Bucs made their cuts, and those players that they have now selected for the practice squad have been selected. Many of the ones that they cut, up to 17 they can have on the practice squad. All teams did it. So that's all over with now. Now it's only training for the first game, which will be not this weekend because college football kicks off, but the following Thursday. A week from tomorrow, tomorrow's Thursday, will be the first game between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. Then Friday night will be the Green Bay Packers against the Philadelphia Eagles. So we'll have 2 games prior to the first Sunday of the regular season of the NFL. As we all know here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy, the Buccaneers play the Washington Commanders at 4:25 at Raymond James Stadium on September the 8th on a Sunday. So that's our first regular season game. And until then, the rest of the league is like the Bucs, preparing for their first game. So that's about all we can add to the Bucs. There was no real surprises of who was cut. John Warford was put on injured reserve and cut some running backs, kept 3, kept Sean Tucker, kept Bucky Irvin, and kept Rashad White, kept the receivers. We thought there was not really any surprises the Bucs had on their team as far as people that they kept. They had to get rid of some of the players because they had to go down to 53 players, but some of those players they did cut and wanted to keep are now on their practice squad, and they can keep up to 17, so they can pick up quite a lot of the players, and they have picked up quite a lot of the ones they had to cut and put on the practice squad. So that's good for the Bucs too, and many teams are doing the same exact thing. So this week is kind of a week to get prepared for next week, getting the last practices in before the starting of the season. So that's where we are with the Tampa Bay Bucs and almost all the NFL teams. Speaking of college, last week, Florida State played Georgia Tech in Dublin, Ireland, and Georgia Tech was a 14-point underdog, and some books had them even higher as an underdog. Florida State was defeated. Top 10 defeated in the first game of the season last week. This week, the Gators go into playing. The USF Bulls play the Bethune-Cookman Wildcats. All the college teams in America will play this weekend. You will have a full plate of college football starting tomorrow night, running through Monday night. You will have college football on almost every channel. There's 106 teams. There's a lot of games. We'll get you ready for this big week of college football. We'll let you know what happens the next show next week. Now we're going on to the Tampa Bay Rays. The Rays were defeated the last 2 games by the Seattle Mariners out in Seattle. Randy Rosarina, the player that we traded from right field, the great Randy Rosarina, out to the Seattle Mariners, hit a game-winning home run on us the first game. In the bottom of the 9th inning, with 2 players on the base, Randy Rosarina hit a home run and won the game walk-off style for the Mariners, his new team over his old team, the Rays. Last night we lost again. We'll play again tonight, and then we will have a break because we'll be coming back to Tropicana Field. As far as the Rays' playoff chances, they're 2 games below 500 and falling. And they've got a lot of great teams to play in the stretch run here in September. It's not looking too good. Their bats are still quiet. Their pitching's adequate. Their batting is terrible. It just is terrible. They want to start out next year and go out and get them some free agent players. These players aren't good enough to be a professional team that's going to make a really competitive run. They don't bat the ball good enough. If they put somebody on base, he's left there because they can't hit him in. They can't knock him in. They just don't have the offensive punch to get it done. Their pitching is adequate and even getting better, but their hitting is terrible. We've said this for years. They want to address it before next year. You're going to have to do it. But we're going to keep our eye on the Rays and see what they can do. I mean, they could be on some biblical run and go through all September, win every game, but I doubt very seriously that's going to happen. But we'll keep you posted with the Tampa Bay Rays, and that's up to the minute of last night's game and tonight's first pitch about 9:40 Eastern time because it's out in Seattle, Washington on the West Coast. That's about all there is on the Tampa Bay Rays. Nothing new to say on the Lightning until the middle of September, into September, when they will start their training camp. They're out and they're enjoying the summer. So nothing new on the Lightning, nothing new on the sale, nothing beneficial said. We'll hear more as time goes on, and when we do, you'll be the first to know, because here at Sports Talk with the Cowboy, we'll bring it to you. Now, this weekend was a Pepsi 400 up in Daytona. A great race. Harrison Burton won his first NASCAR race, the 100th win for Wood Brothers Racing. The number 21 car won its 100th race by beating Kyle Busch in the last half of the race, of the half of the last lap. He pushed himself by Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch tried to block him down, take him down, wreck him a couple of times, but he maintained his composure and went ahead and won that race by about a car length over Kyle Busch in an absolute magnificent race. Congratulations to Harrison Burton, who doesn't have a ride, but he punched his ticket to the playoffs by winning that race Saturday night. He'll be in the playoffs. This week's race is at Darlington, Lady in Black, Darlington, South Carolina, this week on Sunday, and it'll be the last regular season race of the year. And then the 16 drivers that have made the playoffs will move on into the playoffs. They'll get a yellow stripe on their car so everybody knows they're playoff contenders. That means everybody out there that's not a contender can be known that these guys are going for the championship. Okay? Not to say they won't race them, but if they're trying to make a pass, just get out of their damn way, basically. We'll see that happen come this Saturday night. See who makes it in the 16. There's 13 drivers that won a race, which is an automatic entry into the race, into the playoffs. So there's only 3 positions yet to be determined. And this Darlington race probably will determine those three positions unless somebody new wins. So we'll keep you posted on the Darlington race on Sunday. That's what's going on in NASCAR. Over in the PGA, it's the FedEx Championships. And right now, every week there's a FedEx Championship playoff round elimination tournament. And those who win add to their purses to the championship final rounds that'll happen about October. We'll keep you posted on the actual events. As far as the PGA's regular season, it is long gone and over with. So now I'm going to go to your questions for this week. And the first question is from Deborah. And Deborah wanted me to know what I thought about Florida State losing to Georgia Tech over in Ireland. Deborah, I think it was a terrible loss by Florida State when they needed to get in this top 12 to make the playoffs for college football, but they can recuperate if they're going to do it. Best to do it the first game and go on and win the rest of them. But it was a close game, as you know. Georgia Tech kicked the field goal, no time on the clock. I don't think that's indicative, Deborah. I still think these are young men, and they're college-age men. Some had never been out of this country, okay? And then you put them on an airplane, you fly them to a different country, different culture, set them down, take them to a hotel, say, look, you got to get yourself accustomed. They're eating different food, different place. They say, oh, yeah, well, they do that all over the country, Cowboy. They don't do it overseas, okay? And this is an overseas game, and I think it might have caught up with a few of them. Might have been a little sluggish. You know, I don't know. Not making any excuses. Georgia Tech brought a tough game plan. They took advantage of the mistakes Florida State gave them, and they won the game. So congratulations to Georgia Tech. They hadn't beat Florida State for about 10 years. So congratulations. Give Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets their due. And Florida State, they've got a long rest of the season. They can get back, Deborah. I'm sure they can get back. Next one's from Wynn, and Wynn wanted to know me what I thought about Billy Napier and the Florida Gators this year in a tough schedule that they have. Wynn, I know you're a Gator alum. I know your brother-in-law is a golf coach up at the University of Florida. I think the Gators will go about 7-5. I think they're going to win more than they lose this year. It's going to be a tough schedule. Billy Napier is on the hot seat up there in Gainesville. But I think they can win 7 games this year. They start Saturday. They're going to have a tough schedule. They got a tough schedule. They're in the SEC. But 7-5, I think, will keep Napier his job. I mean, it's not undefeated season by no stretch of imagination, and we know there's going to be a lot of bumps through all the teams. They got to play Georgia. Let me lay them out to you. Alabama and everybody else, as we know, the Florida State, Miami, who they play this week, by the way. Florida Gators, Miami Hurricanes, right off the bat. So, yeah, a win. I think they go 7-5, and that would be a good season. God bless you, and thank you for your question, Win. And the next one is from Pam, And Pam wanted to know what I thought about stripping of Jordan Childs the bronze medal in the Olympics and giving it to the Romanian gymnast. Well, I think that's what they should have done. They should have done it right when it happened. I don't know why Jordan Childs was given the bronze medal when certainly the scoring was different for her on her actual routine. I thought it was kind of technical with that minute they had to have to appeal. I didn't ever understand that. That's pretty damn quick, a minute. But anyhow, I think Jordan Childs will come back from this. And of course, as you know, she won a gold medal on the team events. This was an individual event. But I think she'll come back in the 2028 games in LA and lead that team and win many, many gold medals individually and many, many, many more medals for Jordan Childs. There's no question about it. She will come back. She'll be in that 28 games in LA. So we'll be rooting forward to watch her in that game. And God bless you for your question. And before I go tonight, I'd like a special shout out to a friend of mine, Brian Pradrick, and his passing and his journey to heaven. DJ X and myself were friends of his. He was a supporter of this show for years and a sports fan. He was a Redskin fan as a young man. He got Larry Brown, number 43's autograph when he was about 12 years old. A lot of y'all, the old school people, knew who Larry Brown was Redskin. He was a Redskin fan, turned to become a Buc, and so because of him being here in Florida. Brian was a big NASCAR fan, and we want to think about him and honor him tonight, T. Jackson myself. And until next week's show, God bless you and Cowboy out.